Sports plus life.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again and again and again and 1,000 more times. If James Harden is your number one option on your basketball team, you ain't winning no titles. It's really that simple. It's not gonna happen.
Sports plus life.
So, Cardi B and Offset are getting a divorce? Does that surprise you? I mean, for real. I mean, not trying to be funny or nothing, but Offset's the ugly one of the Migos, so whenever ass gets thrown his direction, absolutely he's going to take it, even if he's living at home with a fine woman like Cardi B. But we don't know what she looks like without makeup on, though.
Sports plus life.
I am not going to waste my time talking about the damn Dallas Cowboys ad nauseum like every other sports show or sports podcast does in America. They're a bad football team. They've been a bad football team playing in an even worse football division. The hell do they deserve the attention for? Somebody tell me that.
Sports plus life.
This is what happens when you mix trifling ass people who are supposed to be your friends, always hanging around you, mixed with liquor and weed and whatever drugs was at that little kickback. Not to mention somebody from the Kardashian clan. You get shot in the foot. Get well, Megan Thee Stallion. Damn. And Tory Lanez, what are you doing, bro?
Sports plus life.
People are always telling me, hey, B, when you gonna grow up? Brandon, you need to grow up. Listen, the only thing that's gonna grow up on me is my dick, motherfucker. Copy and print that.
Sports plus life.
On the gridiron or courtside, you know what time it is. It's
Sports plus life. Sports plus life. Huh?
ringside or front court or field pass. We ballin' no knuckle up or buckle up. I tell it like it is when I'm on my show. Home run, slam dunk, knockout, or gossip go.
Sports plus life.
Yeah.
Sports plus life. Huh?
Ah.
Yo, 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 yo. What's going on? What's good? It's your boy Brandon Brevon Towns, and this here is Sports Plus Life. And y'all already know what's going down today. We got some shit to talk about, so you already know what it is. So guess what? Turn it off, turn it off, turn it all the way off, boy. Yeah. All right, how is everybody doing today? Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Brandon Brevon Towns. This is that show called Sports Plus Life, that there podcast where we talk about all the necessary things that need to go on in sports, where we talk about millionaires, cold cash, thousands of dollars, money stacked so tall, all the bitches want to foul. Sorry, I was watching All About the Benjamins last night, but But we're going to talk about what we can, while we can, when we can. I'm just getting over a cold, which is why I didn't do a podcast a couple of days ago. And, oh my God, the stuff that I had to go through at work the last 2 days before today. Oh my gosh, let me tell y'all right quick. Wednesday is just raining all day. But I was in Glen Allen, so I'm like, okay, I don't like getting wet. But you know what? Fuck it. I'm on concrete all day. Yesterday, they decides to send me to Woodford. And for those of you who know Woodford, that's Northern Virginia, right before you get to Fredericksburg, but country as hell. And if you know how the weather was yesterday, it was flooding. I was sent back to a lot of dirt roads, unnamed roads, private roads. And first I got stuck. Luckily, the good people of that residence had a neighbor who pulled me out with their tractor. Then I ran into a road that was flooding. And just as I was trying to reverse and escape, the engine just clunked out. And I was in a situation that actually had me a little shook. I'm in a flooding zone. I'm in a flooding area. And the water, because it's raining and it's flooding, is increasingly rising. I have the Amazon door shut. Damn it. I have the Amazon door shut. Excuse me. I was trying to do something with my shoe. And water is coming in through the door. They had the Spotsylvania Fire Department and the Caroline County Rescue Squad had to come out there with a life jacket to get me out of the car. And you know what I did after that? After the car was towed and I got my bags, I finished my shit. I finished my deliveries. But yeah, that was crazy. That was mad crazy. So, that's the last couple of days have been a trip. Today was just as smooth as a baby's ass. I was out there in short pump all day, had a huge order, but I did what I do, and I'm like, yes, yes, yes. That's what I'm talking about. And the sun was shining. But I'm still getting over this cold, so there's so much stuff I want to talk about, though. So if you hear me sipping, I'm going to just let y'all know I'm sipping liquor, okay? But I hope everybody is doing well. It was a fall kind of crisp day today in the Richmond, VA. But it is Friday, the 13th. Okay. Yes, it is Friday, November 13th, 2020. I'm telling you, it's about to be holiday season. We got Thanksgiving in 2 weeks. We got Christmas in like a month and less than a month and a half. I'm telling you, this year is finally getting to be over with. And you know what's crazy? What's going on? The coronavirus is spiking. Before I start talking about sports, I'm going to talk about some real stuff. The coronavirus is spiking, but I'm going to tell you something else that's new. The president of the United States is going to be new, dog.
Excellent.
Oh, the last time I talked, we were still counting votes, but it is now official. The 46th president of these United States here of America is Joe motherfucking Biden! And I ain't gonna forget about the VP, Miss Kamala Harris, HU. We gonna have to give it up for the HU. First female vice president. First African-American female vice president. First woman of Asian descent as vice president either. There's a lot of firsts with Kamala. So you go ahead, Mrs. Madam Vice President. My vice president is black. And not only did she go to HU, which is Howard University, which is an HBCU. So yeah, score one for the people who want this stuff to be over with. Score one for the people of compassion. I'm not even going to say score one for the people of color because we already know that. Because you know what? It wasn't just the people of color who voted Kamala in as their vice president and voted Joe Biden in as the new president. I'm just telling you, score one for everybody because we all knew that everything needed to change. We knew that we needed a change. But man, let me tell you about my guy 45. Oh, when I tell you my guy 45 ain't gonna leave out of there quietly. First of all, him and his administration refused to even acknowledge that Joe Biden has won and he is now the president-elect. Let me tell you something. And this is why I started talking about the coronavirus first. Numbers have spiked up. It's getting out of control all over again. There's states that are ready to shut it down all over again. College football is in a world of trouble. I'll get into that in a minute. And honestly, I don't feel bad for college football, just to be honest with you, because you already asked. I guess I'm getting into it now, just a little bit. You asked these kids to sacrifice possibly their health for a money grab. And you have to think about kids that don't have anything to play for now. They know these universities, big universities, that know that they're not in contention for a national title anymore. You're talking about college kids. They're going to go and turn up now. And the numbers are spiking. Coaches are catching it. And the number is just ridiculous. It's what everybody feared when this virus first broke out, which is why everybody wanted to get it under control by the time fall and winter got here, because they were worried about flu season. So let me tell you about my guy 45. My guy 45, this is what he wants to do. And he cares so much about his American citizens. Not only has he already mishandled this whole pandemic at epic proportion, he should be thrown in fucking jail for the way he's handled it, knowing how serious the pandemic was. But excuse me, we talk about social distancing, right? Now, I'll say this. Once we found out that Joe Biden won, there were places all over the country who were celebrating, partying like rock stars, not performing, not showing any signs of social distance, but they were wearing masks. So what does 45 do? Tomorrow in Washington, D.C., there is going to be a million MAGA march.
God damn!
Let me repeat that. A million MAGA march.
Say another motherfucking word and this shit is over. And I ain't playing, nigga.
This fool wants a million people gathered in Washington, a million of his supporters. Oh my goodness. First of all, the name, Million MAGA March.
Shut the fuck, shut. Did I say, no? Oh shit, say it again, say something else. Oh, say something else. Say something else, nigga.
I'm gonna be honest with you, and I'm not trying to offend anybody who listens to this. Black people are the most copied race in the history of the world.
Biatch.
I'm just gonna leave it at that. And if that offends you by me saying that, fuck you.
Fuck you, and fuck you.
Because if you have any lick of sense, Million MAGA March, 25 years ago, black people gathered the Million Man March in Washington, which was one reason why we had the March on Washington again in August after all of this social justice stuff was getting out of hand, because one reason was it was the 25th anniversary of the Million Man March. So now, Mr. 45, and I ain't talking about Jordan's jersey number when he came out of retirement the first time. 45 wants to have a Million MAGA March, a.k.a. MAGA Palooza, in Washington. How do you think that's going to go? Oh, my goodness. You're going to have a bunch of Proud Boys and people probably packing gats, probably not going to be wearing masks. You really think Trump gives a damn what happens in the country now? Especially now that he knows that he's lost. And here's the crazy thing. He's still screaming somebody cheated. But on the states that he won, he don't say nothing. But in the states that he lost, oh, you guys cheated. Get the fuck out of here. Literally, no. Pack your shit and get the fuck out of here. Get out the White House. Go to one of your Trump plazas and go on with the next chapter in your life. We don't need no Million MAGA March. I mean, they do what the fuck they want to do. I'm not going. I'm not going to be in the vicinity. But that should be interesting. That ought to be interesting. But what I'm saying is, in the middle of a pandemic, you're going to call this because you're mad that you lost. Because you're being President Petty all over again. He is something else, man. You are something else. I'm not trying to be funny, because I'm telling you right now, for the holidays, unfortunately, everybody's going to be told to stay away. Pretty much everybody's going to be told to cancel their holiday plans because the numbers have spoken or have spiked back up. Excuse me. I hope Joe Biden shuts this bitch down when he gets in the office. I'm serious. I'm so serious. I hope he shuts this motherfucker down.
Biatch.
At least for 2 to 3 weeks. Mandatory. Only people who need to be out is law enforcement and health workers, hospital workers, doctors and shit like that. I'm serious. Because I don't know about you, but I'm quite tired of the damn COVID-19.
Coronavirus!
I mean, ain't y'all sick of hearing about it? I mean, I know I am. I'm sick of hearing about it. I'm sick of having to worry about wearing a mask and worry about 6 feet different. I'm tired of all of that shit. And to quite honestly, we need a mandatory lockdown. We need this motherfucker to be shut completely down for at least 14 to 21 days. But people act so damn entitled and so damn stubborn. American people have proven themselves to not be trustworthy in this time of crisis because of something I said months ago: arrogance, entitlement, and ignorance. And I hope Biden shuts this bitch down. And y'all go have fun at y'all Million MAGA fucking march, and go ahead and I hope everybody stays in perfect health. I do, but yeah, miss me with that bullshit. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Miss me with that. But anyway, wanted to get that out the way. So now let's get into the sports. All right. So without further ado, let's get to it, bruh. All right, we're going to start off with the sweet science today. We're going to do it a little different. We're not just going to start off with football off the bat because tomorrow night it is a welterweight championship fight between the number one pound-for-pound fighter in the world, Terrence Bud, don't call me a blunt, Crawford from Omaha, Nebraska. The pound-for-pound best in the business is putting his undefeated record, his WBO welterweight title on the line against Britain's own former welterweight champion of the world, Brook, coming in with a record of 39 wins and only 2 defeats, and has only lost once in the welterweight division when he lost his title about 3 years ago to Errol Spence in what was a very good fight, and a fight that he was winning initially until he got his eye messed up. Brook is a top 10 welterweight in the world. Terrence Crawford is the best in the business. I can't wait. I want to see this fight. I was watching their post-fight. I was watching them talk shit to each other. We know Bud Crawford has a mean streak that is like no other. He's a little guy, but this little guy don't take no stuff from nobody. And Brook has got something to prove. When Brook was champion at one point in his career, he was 36-0. Winning the title from Showtime Shawn Porter. And if you're a boxing fan, you have to understand that is nothing easy to do. Showtime Shawn Porter is a perennial top 10 welterweight fighter. He's a perennial title contender. He has won the welterweight championship twice. Errol Spence fought him to a tooth and nail life and death battle. And that's who Brook won the title from. I initially, around the time of 2014 and 2015, had got wind of this brother from across the pond and was like, hey, maybe he should fight for Floyd Mayweather. He didn't have the fan base of that of a Ricky Hatton to come into the ring and fight Mayweather, to garner the attention to fight Mayweather, but he's got the attention now because he was one of the only people at a time when Triple G was seen as the world's most dangerous fighter, moved up 2 weight classes to fight Gennady Golovkin at middleweight, and was giving Golovkin the business, but Golovkin was too strong, too powerful. He messed up. He messed his eye up. He messed up his left eye. Then his next fight, he fought Errol Spence back down to welterweight. Errol Spence messed up his other eye, so he had to sit on the sidelines for a bit. Has come back, won a couple fights in a row, got himself in position for a welterweight title fight, but he is going up against the best in the business, Bud Crawford, the guy who nobody wants to fight, the guy who, honestly, Al Heyman and PBC should be ashamed of for ducking. I'll say it right now. Errol Spence has straight up ducked Terrence Crawford for about the last 3 years. Terrence Crawford has said, you bitch made. We need to get in the ring. This is one of the fights that boxing needs to see. And it is a fight that boxing needs to see. My issue with boxing is sometimes it waits too long when you have 2 undefeated fighters in their prime. They're too worried about losing. Promoters are too worried about their fighters losing. And you actually have fighters, at least I know Terrence Crawford, who's ready to get in the ring. He's ready to get in the ring. He's ready to solidify who is the best in the world. This is a big test because Brook is no slouch. He's a big welterweight. He's 5'9". That's big for a welterweight. He looks more like a junior middleweight when he gets in the ring. I guarantee you he'll look like a full-fledged junior middleweight, 154-pounder when he gets in the ring tomorrow. I'm telling you, I cannot wait. If you know me, if you listen to this show with any consistency, I love my boxing. Nothing gets me more excited or more hyped than when it is a big-time fight, a big-time championship fight. And lucky for me, boxing is finishing very strong in 2020. They had to sit on the sidelines as did everybody else, but boxing is finishing strong. We had Tank Davis a couple weeks ago winning his fight. We have Crawford versus Brook. And 2 weeks we have the fight that I've been waiting for, Mike Tyson against Roy Jones for a WBC Frontline Heavyweight Championship. I'll explain that when I go in-depth information about that fight. And then after that, we have Errol Spence going against Danny Garcia. Then after that, we have Anthony Joshua defending his heavyweight championship belts. So boxing is going to be the shiznai to end the year. I cannot wait. Y'all know I'm hyped. But who do I think is going to win this fight? Oh, man. I do think it's going to be a good fight. I think it's going to be a good competitive fight. I think Bud Crawford better be very careful. He can't afford to start slow. Terrence Crawford is a tactician. He's a tactician. He can fight either way. He's a switch hitter when it comes to in the ring. He's a right-handed fighter who, if you watched him over the last, I'd say about 4 or 5 years, he usually fights the majority of his fights in a southpaw position. It really depends on the opponent. And I really can't wait. I cannot wait to see this fight, because this is a fight that could have easily been put on pay-per-view. And I guess the only reason why I would not have ordered it is because I know I'm ordering the Mike Tyson fight in 2 weeks. But this is going to be a very good fight. It's a damn good fight. It's a damn dangerous fight for Terrence Crawford. And it could be a career-defining fight for Kell Brook. Mind you, this brother's 34 years old now. You know, he doesn't want to fall into that category of stepping stone fighter. Even though I will say this, when you're a stepping stone fighter, you get a lot more opportunities. But your opportunities at a title shot, they are far in between when you become a stepping stone fighter. And for those who don't know what a stepping stone fighter is, you were a big name at one point, you were a champion at one point, but you've fallen off, you've lost some fights, and now you are seen, you'll get your championship fight against one of the champions as kind of, are you still on a championship level? And if you lose, then you start fighting the up-and-coming fighters who are that one step away from being a title contender, thus the stepping stone fighter. So Kell Brook doesn't want to fall into that mode. They've already gotten bad blood. I mean, they were talking cash shit with Max Kellerman today. And like I said, I work tomorrow. Nothing better than being able to go to work, come home, chill, and then at around 10, 11 o'clock, close to midnight, wait for the main event for the pound-for-pound best in the world to fight on free-ass television. How about that? On free-ass TV. All you got to do is just go to ESPN at 10 o'clock, and there you got it. You got it. So, yeah, I think that Terrence Crawford is going to win. I do think he's going to win by a very close unanimous decision. Basically, I see him winning on 2 judges' scorecards by 2 rounds and maybe 3 on another. I think it's going to be a very tight and competitive fight. I want to see Crawford win because I do want to see Crawford fight Errol Spence. Again, I think Al Heyman and PBC should be in absolute shame of themselves. They have flagrantly ducked Terrence Crawford. And that makes me question my respect for Errol Spence. Now, that's a bad boy. But, dog, get the money, man. This dude has been calling you out since 2017. What the hell are you doing? So, yes, I don't think that Errol Spence is going to lose to Danny Garcia unless Danny Garcia develops a left hand. I definitely think Spence is going to win that fight. I wouldn't be surprised if he won that fight by knockout. And he knock him and his damn daddy out. Angel Garcia, who just talk, but ain't in the ring taking a punch for his son. So, I think Bud Crawford is going to win. I think it's going to be a close fight. I think it's going to be a very exciting fight. I don't know if they're going to have fans or not. I know they had fans at the Tank Davis fight, at the Tank Davis Santa Cruz fight, with the numbers spiking up and COVID. I would doubt it. Just like I didn't really think, I've had a hard time believing that the Mike Tyson Roy Jones fight is going to be without fans because they moved it to the Staples Center. But like I said, with numbers spiking, it's kind of believable now. But we shall see. We shall see. But yeah, I'm going with Bud Crawford. I think Kell Brook gives a great account of himself, which will keep him in line for another championship belt. Or if I was Kell Brook, I would move up to 154 and maybe try to take on one of the Charlo brothers. Definitely, I would try to take on one of the Charlo brothers if he loses this fight and gives a good account of himself. And he looks very well. It looks like a fighter who is not on the south side, but is still trending on the north side. Even at 34 years old, we know now boxing, 34 years old, you're still pretty much seen in your prime. I think Terrence Crawford is 32 or 33 years old. So now, with the sweet science out of the way, what I would like to do now is predict my Week 10 football picks. Oh my gosh, we're in Week 10 already. Let me tell you something. Side note. With the COVID going out of control again and really screwing over college football, for one, college football deserves this because, like I said, they're sacrificing these students' health for a money grab. The Big Ten sold their soul after saying that they were not going to have sports, and now they have so many games being canceled. There are games in the SEC canceled. There's games in the Big 12 canceled. There's games in the Pac-10 canceled. There's games in the Big 10 canceled. So it's going to be hard to finish college football. With that being said, the NFL is going to finish. The NFL is going to finish their football season because, one, you have paid professionals who are more disciplined than college students, and you can't fault college students for that. If those college students were being paid, you'd have a different conversation, but they're not. So the NFL is going to finish. The NFL has seen the NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball, and Major League Baseball wasn't even in a bubble until the Conference Championship Series. They've all finished. NFL is going to finish. I don't think anybody has to worry about that. Now you still might have some games reshuffled, but we will get to the finish line with football. College football, I don't know. I hope we can have a strong college basketball season because my Cavaliers, I think are in position to win again. But we'll deal with that when that comes. Anyway, we've already started with Week 10, the Thursday night game last night. Battle of first place between the Tennessee Titans and the Indianapolis Colts in Tennessee. Tennessee jumped out early, stopped the Colts on multiple 4th and 1s, and the Colts came back. Tennessee laid an egg in the second half. They were up 17-13 at halftime, did not score another point as the Colts scored on offense and special teams. 34-17, they're now in first place in the AFC South with a record of 6-3. The Titans and the Colts play again in 2 weeks. The Titans are starting to turn in what I thought they would be at the beginning of the season because I did not believe in Ryan Tannehill. He was proving me wrong to some degree because I looked at their schedule. My Uncle Tuck sent me a schedule of the Titans last night, their current schedule. And they've only won one game that's with any kind of, that was really convincing. That was that game against Buffalo, the Derrick Henry stiff arm game. Other than that, they've had nail biters. Now, kudos to you winning them, but as now you were winning those games earlier, now you're losing them. And this doesn't qualify as a nail biter. You lost by 17 points. The Colts doubled you up, 34-17. So, Phillip Rivers threw for 308. Derrick Henry ran for 103 yards, but clearly not enough. And the Colts have a respectable defense. If Phillip Rivers plays competent football, the Colts are a good team. Now, on to my picks for Sunday's games. First up, forgive me, you guys, I'm stopped up. I'm still getting over a cold. First game, Houston at Cleveland. Texans at the Browns. This is a hard game to pick because I see, just like with the Falcons, I see the Texans potentially making a run. Not necessarily the playoff spot, but they could spoil a lot of things. And I'm not just saying that because they were my dark horse team out of the AFC at the beginning of the season, because they're genuinely a good football team, at least offense. Their defense sucks. But hearing Romeo Crennel last week talk about deluxe nuts in regards to Will Fuller was absolutely hysterical. Hysterical. But Cleveland is coming off of a bye week, and they're actually coming off a loss, too. They lost their last game to the Raiders. You may have Nick Chubb back. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Cleveland is going to win this game. I think they'll have some ball control. The Texans' defense stinks. So I'll say Cleveland will win the game. The DC Dickich at the Detroit Lions. Alex Smith is now the starter. I'm going to go with the DIs to beat the Lions. Jacksonville at Green Bay. Enough said. Even though that Jacksonville 6th-round rookie was impressive last week. Philadelphia at the Giants. If you watch the teams from the NFC, if you watch them, the one true team that has shown improvement week to week has been the New York Giants. The problem is they've only beaten one team. The good thing is that one team, winning 2 games against that one team only puts you 1 game out in the win column for the awful, awful, awful NFC East. It's a big week for Carson Wentz, particularly because Brett Favre came on First Take earlier this week and said if it were him, he would have kept Nick Foles. Now, Dougie P, sooner or later, he did say that he didn't agree with that, but I believe there are a lot of Eagles fans who feel the same way. Let me tell you something. Nick Foles is not a better quarterback than Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is more talented, but he can be a better decision maker. So I'm just going to leave it at that. I picked the Eagles to win against the Giants. Tampa Bay at Carolina, the Bucs coming off of that one-way nut stomping at the hands of the New Orleans Saints. I mean, the Saints beat the crap out of them. They did. I'm going to tell you, Tom Brady is starting to rub some people the wrong way. Because I'm going to tell you right now, Mike Evans ain't happy. I don't think Chris Godwin is happy. Because you're talking about 2 guys who were Pro Bowl receivers a year ago, and now here comes Tom Brady. Okay, you have the Super Bowl cachet, Super Bowl pedigree, but now you got to bring Gronk. And then you got to bring Antonio Brown. And people who say, well, Bruce Arians said that Tom Brady didn't have anything to do with Antonio Brown coming to Tampa Bay is a fucking lie. Bruce Arians didn't want Antonio Brown. Tom Brady won the dick measuring contest. He wanted Antonio Brown. He got Antonio Brown. And I think that's rubbed Bruce Arians the wrong way. I think that's rubbed some of his players who are holdovers from last year's roster. Because, I mean, you feel like at 6-2, it's working. So what do you need Antonio Brown for? I mean, I'm not mad that they got him because the Saints proved last week they're a better team anyway when they're squadded up. I mean, I'm glad AB is back in the league getting a check as long as he don't act like a dick face. So, but they're playing Carolina without Christian McCaffrey. He came back for 1 game, got hurt again. So Tampa will bounce back. Carolina doesn't have a pass rush to make Tom Brady uncomfortable. Tampa Bay will win this game. My Broncos at the Raiders. My Broncos are 3-5. They're coming off of a loss. The Raiders are quietly 5-3. I hate to say this, but I think the Raiders are going to win. If my Uncle Michael hears this, he'll probably replay it for me until the day I die. But anyway, I like the Raiders to win the game. I like them to go to 6-3. Chargers at Dolphins. The Chargers are the AFC version of the Falcons when it comes to snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. Miami's defense is not to be trifled with. People had questions about Tua even after the Rams game because he threw for under 100 yards. Did you see the way he played against the Cardinals? What questions do you have after that game? I think that the Dolphins will win. They will go to a surprising 6-3. I think Miami may be a playoff team. We'll see. Interesting game of the day. It's a 4:00 game. Buffalo at the Arizona Cardinals. The Buffalo Bills are 7-2. They're in prime position to win the AFC East for the first time in 25 years. But Arizona is in prime position to make a playoff berth, to get a playoff berth out of that crowded NFC West. I like Kyler Murray in this game to bounce back from a loss that I'm pretty sure they should not have had last week. And who the hell did they play last week? Who in the freaking frack did they? Oh, Miami. It was the Dolphins. They lost to Tua. And they were at Arizona. They're at Arizona this week. I think Kyler Murray bounces back. Another late game. Seattle at the Rams. This is tough because the Rams are 5-3. Seattle's coming off a loss. They're 6-2, but Seattle's defense is horrible. I have to be fair about this. I have clowned the Dallas Cowboys defense all year, particularly for the way they were the first about 6-7 weeks of the season. Seattle's defense is god-awful. They cannot stop the pass. And you figure, now they just got Carlos Dunlap in the trade from Cincinnati, but you figure a defense with Bobby Wagner, KJ Wright, you got Jamal Adams from the Jets. I mean, they're horrible. They're horrible. And I don't want to go against Russell Wilson, but Russell Wilson ain't playing D. this is a hard pick for me to make because my brain is saying Rams. My brain is really saying Rams. Oh God. I'll come back to this one. Next game, San Francisco at New Orleans. San Francisco. They're not even the 49ers anymore. They're the 19ers. Because 3/4 of their squad is gone due to injury. I don't even know if they have 49 players healthy. So, New Orleans. Cincinnati at Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh will win. I think it'll be closer than you think. I think Pittsburgh has that issue of playing down to their competition, but I think they'll get everything done. Sunday night game, Baltimore at New England. I think it'll be a very good game. I think Cam Newton will actually give a very good account of himself. No Calais Campbell for the Ravens. That'll help with the Patriots' run game, but I'm still going with Lamar Jackson. They're quietly 6-2. I think Lamar Jackson is trying to hit his stride now. Because if they're not going to win the division, I'm pretty sure they're going to want to be the top wild card spot. Monday night game, Minnesota at Chicago. Chicago is trending south. Minnesota is trending north. And I actually think Dalvin Cook is on a roll. Another tough game. I'm going to go out on a limb and say the Vikings will win the game. To me, that's a pick 'em. Because, like I said, the Vikings are playing better. Chicago at one point was 5-1. Now they're 5-4. I think everybody's fighting for their job now. So, Chicago may come out with a inspired effort and win the game. But based on the way the Vikings are playing right now, I know it's in Chicago, but I'm going to go with Minnesota. So that there is my picks for Week 10. Yes. That there is my picks for Week 10 of this there football scheduled season. Quick news, the Masters are going on. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't care. I just wanted to say it because it's relevant. The Masters are going on. I've never been into golf. I know I did a segment last year when Tiger Woods won because of the comeback story. But if anybody comes to me and tries to talk hardcore golf, you'll lose me immediately. Now, news in baseball. History was made. The Miami Marlins have hired a female as their general manager, Kim Nee. I think I pronounced that. But she is the first female general manager in any of the major professional sports leagues in North America. So definite congratulations, definite shout out to her. The Miami Marlins, they had a surprising season, albeit a 60-game season. And we'll see. This is definitely groundbreaking, breaking down some barriers. So I definitely respect that. Much respect to you. And I hope you do, and I do. I hope you do a great job. I hope Derek Jeter made the right hire. I really do. NBA, the NBA to A, they are going to start their season December 22nd. You know, they couldn't pass up that money. So we have, questions. Free agency starts soon. And it's a lot of different rumors going on. At one point, it was a rumor of Chris Paul possibly going to the Lakers. I don't think that's going to happen. I said right after the Milwaukee Bucks were eliminated that they should put together a package for Chris Paul. At first, people agreed with me, but I haven't heard anything about that since then. So we'll see. I've heard the possibility, of Chris Paul going back to the Los Angeles Clippers. I've heard the possibility of CP3 going to Phoenix with Devin Booker and Ayton. I've also heard that the Philadelphia 76ers, Doc Rivers is their coach. Daryl Morey is now their GM. Daryl Morey was the former general manager of the Houston Rockets, and that they will try to pursue a trade for James Harden in Philadelphia, possibly for Ben Simmons. I wouldn't do it. That's just me. And I've also heard of the possibility of Russell Westbrook wanting out of Houston, possibly going to the Clippers. What do you think about that? Russell Westbrook with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, assuming that doesn't cost you Paul George in a trade. But what I think is actually messed up is that the Rockets have a new coach, Stephen Silas, son of African-American head coach Paul Silas. Why is it when we get brand new black head coaches on teams with stars, we're considering trading the stars now? Well, why is it that somebody like Steve Nash, who has never been a head coach, Stephen Silas has been an assistant coach for 20 years, now getting his first shot as a head coach, excited about coaching Russell Westbrook and James Harden, but now they talking about trading them. But do you think Steve Nash getting his first head coaching gig with the Brooklyn Nets, do you think they're going to talk about trading Kevin Durant or Kyrie Irving? That stuff just gets on my nerves. I'm not trying to play the race card, but I see that happen too much. When you talk about Ty Lue, I ain't going to say nothing because Ty Lue, in his first coaching gig, he had LeBron James and Kyrie Irving. I get it. But Steve Nash, on the other hand, his first coaching gig, he had the Warriors, the Splash Brothers. You just don't see that happen. Steve Nash now gets KD and Kyrie. Stephen Silas, right now he has Russell Westbrook and James Harden, but he's probably not going to have them. So he's already going to be behind the 8 ball when the season starts. I'm sorry, that just gets on my damn nerves. It really does. It really gets on my damn nerves. So, anyway, with that being said, folks, with a buzzer. All right, next show, if I can remember, as far as the baseball topic goes, I'll try to say something in regards to Tony La Russa. Or I said with a buzzer, but maybe I can do it now. Tony La Russa is a Hall of Fame manager who won World Series with the Oakland A's and the St. Louis Cardinals, was just hired by the Chicago White Sox. Why do I mention this? Because one, he's 76 years old. Two, the White Sox have gone back to being the coolest team in baseball. I don't know if y'all remember, but in the early 90s, if you're my age, the White Sox were like the swagged out team. You know, you had Tim Raines and Frank Thomas and Robin Ventura. You had Bo Jackson hitting DH. Everybody was wearing White Sox gear. But the only reason why I mentioned Tony La Russa is the day before he got hired, he got arrested in a DUI. He got arrested with a DUI and told the cops, "Do you know who I am? I am a Hall of Fame baseball guy. That's who I am. Let me pull it over." Okay, the Hall of Fame baseball guy is what he said. But trying to flex his celebrity, even though he was dead ass wrong. And the Chicago White Sox, knowing that, hired him anyway. Now, my only question is, if Tony La Russa was my skin complexion, and again, I'm not trying to pull the race card, I'm just telling you the things that I see. If Tony La Russa was my skin complexion, and I got arrested for a DUI the day before I'm introduced as the new manager of a baseball team, do you think I'd still have that job? Inquiring mind want to know. Anyway, okay. Well, we have a new president. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. And all I can say is, what we need to do now is put all of this BS as far as politics, this stuff that has divided this country and have made people act a damn fool. We need to put all of that stuff behind us, and we need to focus on getting rid of this pandemic, because now well over 200,000 people have died. The current administration has done a piss poor job handling this pandemic. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm just telling the truth. So what we need to do now as Americans, listen to me. If you listen to this podcast, we need to stop worrying about the politics now and worry about our fucking health. That's what we need to do. We need to let this petty stuff go. If you voted for Trump, I'm sorry. If you voted for Biden, you feel great, don't you? But the bottom line is, we need to focus on getting rid of this pandemic, and we need to be responsible. My college students, my high school students, I'm talking to you in particular. You're not indestructible. You're not indispensable. And even if you are asymptomatic, one of your family members might not be. Trust me. I still like going out from time to time to turn up. I still plan on doing it when the time is right. But we need to leave all of that bullshit to the side. We're going to have a new president, period. I don't give a damn what they do with that stupid ass march tomorrow. We're going to have a new president, and it's not going to be Donald Trump. It is what it is. But honestly, getting rid of this pandemic is more important than that. So I just thought I would leave you guys with that. Again, it's your boy Brandon, Brevon Towns. This has been another episode of Sports Plus Life. Trust me, if you have not hit that subscription button, definitely hit that subscription button and become part of the Sports Plus Life family. Tell your friends about me, okay? It's your boy again, Brandon Brevon Towns. I'm out this bitch. Till next week, we getting closer to Thanksgiving. We getting closer to Christmas. We getting closer to 2021. I'll see y'all in a bit. Peace.